Blog Talk Radio.
Hello. Hello. Uh-oh, there's something going on with the show. I gotta change the information. Uh-oh. Okay, let me see if I could change it. Okay, hold on. For some reason, I did not change the information. What's going on? Category. I'm hoping people are able to find Street Meat Company. You know, originally I put it in, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to use. It was relationships. I wanted to give you all these different categories. And I was like, okay, well, I just kind of threw it in self-help, but it's really not self-help. It is social networking. Social networking. This is how I would like to define this category of Street Meat the Point. Street Meat the Point is under social networking. Okay. Good day. I think I also probably need to change the way I actually have the writing when I'm writing my little script and everything. Anyway, I do write a little script. Sometimes I am reading because I am reading. I try to have some kind of format of what that is so that I'm not, you know, dancing around here and there. There may be some information here and there, and so the purpose of that is that I make sure that I explain and express some of the things that are of interest in the course of the day. And then some of the stuff kind of sounds redundant because, hey, the thing is that Street Meat Company is a nonprofit organization, and we are looking for sponsors and people to participate with Street Meat Company because we want to be vital in the community. And I will explain that a little bit more. But let me first start off with my greeting. I guess that was my salutation. Salubrious. Today is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2014. Boon. B-O-O-N. Blessings. And I think that I'm going to change the word to salubrious. For some people, when I was writing the information down for some of the classes, it was called salubrious. So I may go ahead and reiterate that. Salubrious. Boom. Okay? My name is Irene Ratliff, Regal, Street Meat Company. Now I want to figure out what Regal and Regal is. We have to understand what upgrade is. And of course, that's just from a small perspective. You know, there's many, many people like me who feel like they're, what you want to call it? Optimistic or autism. The reality is what it is. There's people out there who are presidents and CEOs, and yet here it is, they're on ground at grassroots level, yet they're inspired to try to help people or help other organizations or assist, or they think they're assets to society. Yet they look like they look. What happened is some time ago, the conversations by some of the people who are actually involved in the community, they said if we were able to get as much money that is donated to a church, we could probably be as effective as we would like to be. And I said, man, what do you mean by that? Excuse me, I'll get back to that conversation too. Anyway, start over. My name is Irene Ratliff, Regal, Street Meat Company. Street Meat Company is a nonprofit organization seeking partners and sponsorship, such as the listening audience, to help ameliorate goals that can improve our community. Listeners, you can call 646-564-9776. Listeners, or people who feel like they have a conversation. Let me see. You can also go on chat. Let me see. Uh, if you want to chat with me, you can also chat with me, okay? So that's going up. So if you feel like you want to have a chat, yay! All right, listeners, you can call 646-564-9776. We are on the air up to 120 minutes daily, starting at 11:30 p.m. By the grace of goodness, we are on the training on Blog Talk's premium package. We would like to maintain the package, and we need donations. Please visit our website at www.streetmeet.biz and www.meetup.com/meet, M-E-E-T. All right, I'm going to see. Street Meet Mingle will be Sunday, July 6th, 2014 at 2 p.m. at the Southwest Library. We're hoping to see you. They have a park area, and if you have drums and dance, we can create some cheer. Let's utilize the place. Hey, Street Meet Mingle is an opportunity for us to go over some of the things that we have achieved and to explain what Street Meet Company is and share the harvest and festive table. Okay? So it's that in itself, when you look at it, it's a treat. Ooh, when we have the Street Meet Mingle on June 1st, it smells so sweet. The vegetables and this, it was really good. Now I wanted to say that while we really have some talented and smart people, but I wanted to say that I went to the Doctors Are In at the Renaissance, and I want to go over this material again. The reason why is because from the conversation that we had actually had, one moment. Grassroots and churches. Hold on. I just want to make sure I put that information here. But anyway, I want to go over this information again. And the reason why is because it seems like it's imperative. I could talk about the copycats. I could talk about here it is the cloning. But yet here it is. All that is important. But what we do need to explain and express is the importance of, well-being. And I ain't going to fib to you. I mean, my girlfriends and them used to say back in the day, girl, you be exercising and all that. I used to be a little smaller than what I am. I'm kind of fat today. But the thing is that there seemed to be something associated with our well-being and how we look in our community. The way that we look at the community is a reflection of maybe how we look at home. At least that's how it was being explained to me through one of the meetings that I attend. I attend certain meetings, and, I'm looking at some of these places, they kind of have a formation, like they're, structured like the UN. I ain't gonna fib to you. Street Meet Company, I'm kind of, I guess, in so many ways, if you want to call it CEO, president, organizer, let's get some things done, but I guess there would have to be a seat of call. You have these things once a month or once every 6 months or something like that. You don't necessarily have to have it. You can have it once a year. So the thing is that when we have Street Meet Mingle, that objective is to try to communicate what's going on. But anyway, I went to it. It was like talking about community health. So what constitutes a healthy or a vibrant or a vibrant community? So and the question was, do you see 5 Points by the bus area as being a representation of what we view ourselves, say, in Buckhead? I mean, it sounds like a TIN. The question is, what about Midtown? So when we look at these particular areas, that right there is Naguzo Stable, baby. I ain't going to fib to you. What's going on with that? They would say, hey, well, these people over here in West End, they used to be like this. These men over here in so-and-so, they used to be like that. And so it's like, well, here it is. What do you mean they used to be? So they're not involved in their community? Anyway, I ain't going to go in there. Shut up. Okay, so I wanted to say that they had a conversation. And the conversation was about our well-being. The encouragement are for our men. Men, it's okay to ask your woman to go outside and walk with you. What I'm finding is that maybe a lot of these men may not want to be seen with these one woman here or there because he may be dipping and dabbing here and there. Now here it is, if it was that man and he's actually with one female, he wouldn't be ashamed walking with her or exercising with her or wherever she at. We know y'all like that, women. So why you hiding that woman that look like Shanae? We know you with her. Where's she at? I ain't gonna lie to you, honey. I think I look like Esther Rose, honey. You tell me like a TIS. I'm like, huh. Anyway, back in the day, I guess when I had my hair curl, they would say, I've had some men say, you know what, you look like Patti LaBelle. And I'm like, I do? I don't know. But, the time has changed. I ain't going to argue with you. Anyway, listen. So men, here it is. Why you don't see these men out here with their women walking and exercising with them? I want somebody to walk and exercise with me. So, this is the thing. I will be walking in various areas. My starting point will be from Fairburn, maybe going to the Greenbrier Mall area, and going back over to the Cascade area. I tell you the truth, I really would like to see how long it would take me to get to the Camp Creek area and get to that plaza and see what that looks like. So I think there's like 3 points. So Cascade, then here it is, there's Greenbrier, and then from that jump there is the Camp Creek area. I think that's a longer walk. But Greenbrier and Cascade, yes. I did ride the bike today. Yay! And that bike going up them hills, honey, I ain't gonna fib to you. Huh? But sometimes I have to get off the bike and I have to walk it, and the argument or the question was, are stairs better than inclines? And I think that when you look at the NordicTrack, and they have the NordicTrack and you're stretching, like how you're skiing, and they'll show you how it works on the gluteus maximus or whatever it's called, with the buttocks. I don't know. I think that the incline is better for the buttocks than the stairs. Now you can go up and down the stairs. So what I did today is I walked a little bit, and then I did some stairs a little bit, then I rode the bike, and then here it is, of course, I had to walk the bike up the incline, and then, of course, I like to ride the bike down in the declines, or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, I am on the road with the bike. We do need to get the bike trail. It is necessary. Some of those areas look okay. So please be vigilant for those of us who are riding our bikes. It is the summertime. So please, mind you, pedestrians and bikers have the right of way. Okay, so please be vigilant, okay? And I want to say, again, creating the walk path. So I kickstarted exercising. I wanted to say, too, I did start the little juicing. So today I had I had orange. I ain't going to tell you, I had a lot of other junk today. But anyway, I did cucumbers, carrots, cucumbers and carrots, and what else? There was something else. I enjoyed it. I took it with me on my little trip, and I had 2 bottles of water. And of course, I only had a little bit of it. So the encouragement is to juice and drink plenty of water. Exercise up to 2 hours a day. So if we get out early, maybe if we start working out and walking, maybe at 6 a.m., that's a 2-hour walk. Do kind of like a walk and a jog. I need to jog a little bit, the truth. The reason why I need to jog is because I do have a round. I have stomach. I could do the sit-ups. As a matter of fact, I could probably do some yoga since I cleaned up around here. I just cleaned up my little corner. Maybe now I can, do my yoga. It was kind of junky, and sometimes when things are a little junky. I don't get depressed, but I just know it's just some junk, and I need to, kind of clean it and straighten it out. So we got a lot of other little things going on here. But now that my little area, my little space is clean, yay for yoga. Okay, Pilates too. I was supposed to have a conversation about yoga. I'm going to study the yoga, the verbal aspect of what yoga is, because I had somebody say, certain things in terms of ancient, which I'm in agreement with the conversation of picking up things, unfamiliar things that we unfamiliar with. But the question would be, why would you not want me to know me through yoga? You understand where I'm coming from? Yoga, and when you look at the essence of yoga, it is about balance. It is the 6 elements. So when you have people say, well, I don't want the yoga, we got people who's trying to keep us from what is naturally belonging to us. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So the thing is that when we look at yoga, Pilates is a branch. Whether you want to call it stretching or whatever you want to call it, it's still yoga. Now, when we were growing up, they used to have us say, all right, sit like a little Indian, and we used to sit down on the floor as in elementary, and we'll cross our legs. Now, we could have had our legs straight. But they had us cross our legs, and that was known as a little Indian seat. Okay? So we'll sit there. Now, we really didn't practice any of the stretching and everything, but when we started to exercise, we did stretch. And those stretches was kind of common, like cherry picker. Remember back in the day, cherry picker? Okay, well, now, when you get older, it's a little different. Then we do our little thing. But anyway, I will look into yoga. I want you to understand that yoga is about the being. Okay, the being. And so when you're in meditation, when you're exercising, listen, when you're exercising, you're out, and that's about mind, body, and spirit. You know what I mean? That's like you're maybe trying to release some of the, toxins. Well, that's really, if you tell you the truth, you're sweating, you're releasing toxins. You're exercising. Your body is warming up. It's releasing toxins. So here it is, your mind, you want to be at peace. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to relax. You know what I mean? You don't want to be, you may be talking about the jog or, oh, okay, I got to do this today. And it's just, at that point, it's just a relaxing. You're meditating as you're exercising. You're relaxing, even though you're exercising, which is a work. So there's different forms of this, that, and the other. So anyway, yoga is associated with the 6 elements. Let me make sure I write that down, okay? Yoga is associated with the 6 elements. What are the 6 elements? The 6 elements deals with astronomy, land, water, wind, man, and fire. It's an order. Astronomy, land, water, wind, man, fire. Matter of fact, even when we're reading it, it really is an order of how that goes. Okay? So when we look at yoga, yoga is associated with the 6 elements. Don't get it twisted. So going back to the exercise, I encourage our women, because I'm, like I said, we can, hey, I need to jog because I got a little muffin round, meaning I got a belly. So the little jogging is going to help that. So that expression in itself is clear. Okay? Our practice and doing that thing. Why? Because Nguzo Saba, if we have an interest in the community and understanding what that is as a unit, then we will be, the way we look will be a reflection of that. It doesn't matter about, certain characteristics, but when it comes down to a physique, and the onset or the look of strength, right? It should be a display of that. And over a period of time, he's like, oh, exercise, I ain't gonna feel you. I was eating some donuts. I was drinking some wine. I do drink my wine. And so I have to make some provisions in what that is. You know, back in the day, we kind of let go of what is it? Oh, you can't have beef, or don't eat beef, or, you know, or what about, the chicken, or pork, and this and that, or beer, wine, rum, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so the thing is that over a period of time, the provision of eating certain things, I have not eaten those things. Like, for an example, I don't eat beef, but I don't mind having beef. And I've become unparticular about certain things. Because what I realize is that when at home, I don't cook certain things. I may have the chicken, I may do some tuna, I may do some turkey. I ain't gonna fib to you. I ain't gonna get no big old turkey leg and cook that. I ain't gonna fib to you. You know, but if somebody cook it, I may enjoy it. You know, I'm not looking at certain things like, oh, I can't have no bacon bit. I'm like over there in Morocco, you know, in Africa, you know, the Muslims, honey, their biggest cattle is the pig. You mean tell me they ain't had no chitlins and no pig? But anyway, I ain't gonna argue with that either. You know, when we look at certain things, it becomes a matter of preference. And I think when, in terms of right now, me even communicating about the juicing, it's like you could get any of those fruits and vegetables, put it in the blender. Like I got some lettuce in there right now. I got an old tomato. I'm like, I just throw that in there. It's good. You know, and I guess if you feel like you want some tuna and you have to have some meat in there, you could blend that too. So anyway, I ain't gonna fib to you a little earlier. Going back to the yoga. I did do a little yoga today. Intercept yoga is a practice of balance, equilibrium, and nature. It does not get old having control over mind, body, and inner self. Okay. I did want some lemon pepper today, but I was like, I'm not going to do that. I know this is community, this is personal, so you can get to know me. As I'm embarking on, here it is, that thing, and that encouragement to talk about well-being and body. So the thing is that with people who are out there, the reflection of our body, our women, we have to have the encouragement to exercise more. You know, they will talk about heart disease and cancers and sickle cells and all that kind of stuff, and we do not see the amount of women that should be exercising up and down the street. And that goes the same thing for men. You'll find men playing basketball. You'll find, you know, I explained to some people that over here at Melvin Drive Park, there's literally a baseball field back there. So not the T-balls for the little kids, but there's actually a big field over there at Melvin Park Drive. And then they have the basketball. Another thing, too, we have Serena and Venus, but I ain't going to fib to you. Ain't like I've been looking for black men or women who play tennis. But we got tennis courts right here at Ben Hill. You know, I ain't going to fib to you. At the Arthur Ashe, I haven't seen no other black man who play tennis. I ain't saying that they ain't up there. Don't get me to fib. Huh? I said we should, in terms of sports, we should have been many, many places. Huh? But we're not. We got all these men running around here with their pants halfway on their buttocks. And yet, when it comes down to, okay, maybe they know how to play basketball, I don't know. We don't really have a football field. Ha ha! Did you know I found a football field off of Cascade? Now, I wasn't sure if it belonged to the college that is right there, but it was across the train tracks, and I said, I wonder how I get on the other side of that. So the support to do tag football is possible. Now, I haven't seen tag football being played, but if we had to establish a relationship, we can try to get a lot of these young men off the street. We got to upgrade how we think about not only our youth, but we have a lot of young people who also are aspiring. Don't you know we could train them for the Olympics? Where are these people at? We got all these personal trainers, and we so-called this, that, and the other. They, you know, when it comes down to flag football and things like this, in terms of the Olympics, hey, they could be groomed a certain kind of way. So what I'm looking at is that a lot of these organizations, they're only focused on youth. And then youth seems like it's only come from elementary and middle school. But when it comes down to high school and then college, it seems to go somewhere else. Huh? So we have from high school all the way up to what we would consider the time, I guess the age, you know, when they ask you the category, age category, that this is a whole area of people missing. Not missing, but here it is that there's not that kind of assistance that is needed. Education, now I'll have a conversation about education. Let me put that on my note. We'll have a conversation about education, okay? I mean, because the thing is, there are things to do. So education, and for those of people who are interested in that format, I will explain that. Matter of fact, I'll probably do it tonight. I don't know. Break it down, because we can always go over it and see if anybody misinterpreted or heard what was being communicated. Okay? But okay, so anyway, you have Melvin Park. They have the basketball, and it actually has a cover, so that means it's not getting too hot. Then we have the tennis. We got tennis right here at Ben Hill. Okay, they got 2 tennis areas, just like they have it right here at Melvin Park, Melvin Drive Park. But then in the inside of the rec department, which I was started to do the rec room. Okay, what is this called? The wrecking ball room, where you can, you know, play by yourself. And I just haven't been back up there because of my schedule or things that I've been doing. And I ain't gonna fib to you today. Once like I said, it was kind of junky. I had to organize it, and still not going. I really did not go through my papers. But as I exercised earlier on today, and I did some paperwork, I was kind of exhausted. So I have to actually balance that out. You know, like some people, they exercise and they're like, oh, how they feel refreshed. Well, I came in and I was feeling kind of tired, you know. So here it is. I have to appropriate what that energy is. But anyway, let me go and see if black, I mean, I shouldn't have to say that. And I'm going to go on that racism in a few minutes. Anyway, black man tennis player. Black man tennis player. Hey, I haven't seen any of them. Like I mean, what about the, you know, thank goodness for Tiger Woods. They got the Tiger Woods. Wow, look at them. Like I said, huh, from Arthur Ashe, we haven't seen the rest of them, huh? I mean, goodness gracious. Let me see here. We gotta get on it, huh? We got 2 tennis areas and no professional tennis player. You don't see them folks out there playing tennis. Get a tennis ball practice. You know, like I said, considering Arthur Ashe, bless his soul, we have Serena and Venus. They come out from what? From L.A. I'm just wondering. It makes me wonder if they have created a foundation to get the youth engaged and interested in tennis. You know, I mean, how are they engaging? Here it is, some of the young kids to be, you know, interested in tennis and the aspect of what that skill is. And their father did that. Their father made sure they got up every day. So y'all get up. We're going to play tennis. I look at my children, honey, they've been sitting on the couch all day today. Couch potatoes. Even their own mess, they just sitting there looking at it. I ain't going to fuss with them, but you know you need to clean that up. Do I want to? Oh, come on, kids, let's go. Well, if I go there, I don't want to be bored. So you rather sit in the house all dang on day? They don't want to go to the museum or walk to the park or go down the street. I want to ride the bike. I fix the seat. They don't want to ride the bike no more. I'll tell you, the gun on the street, we got to get up and move around and enjoy life. You know, what's happening is that a lot of people kind of figure, okay, well, we just go to work and we go home, we do our little things. Okay, we're involved. But there is an essence of life. You have life, know how to live. You know, there was these young men that was around Memorial Weekend, and this young guy, and he said, a young boy, his name was Elijah. He's much older now, but at the time we had did this little memorial. And he said, you know, Miss Irene, he said, I just realized that a lot of people just don't know how to live. And knowing how to live. So anyway, that means that you were interested in learning new things. Hey, I want to be out there and work with some people. Ben Hill Recreation Center, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. They have exercising. You want to be joined with somebody else, 11 to 12. Each hour a day. If I could participate with them, I would. My schedule tomorrow is no, maybe Thursday, yes. Today I could have went over there and hung out with the seniors. I should have. But I was already pooped from what I was doing, and I was looking at my mess. I had to fix it, you know, and clean it up. But for an hour, sometimes we get so occupied and feel like here it is, we're not paying any attention. We need to support these men who are out there. We got Donald Young. You have to do your own research and see who this gentleman is. Donald Young. Okay? Then we also have Joe Wilford Sanga. Oh, we got a Jamaican one, too. Goodness gracious. Then here it is. He kind of look good. Let me see what he look like. Dustin Brown of Jamaica. Then we have another one. French. His name is Gael Montes. Okay, we got another one here. I ain't gonna argue with you, but he's like a little spider monkey. Stanislav Wawrinka. Yeah. Huh? Huh? We need to support our players. Look at Arthur Ashe. You know, they act like we didn't know. Yes, we know Arthur Ashe is up there. What about our equestrian riders? I know a lot of them come from Latin America. Okay, so we have to upgrade our sports if we in the Olympics, okay? Upgrade in the sports. Anyway, going back to this. Men, again, I encourage you to get your women out there and exercise. Your women are a reflection of you, but the argument is not that our men want to go off and be with skinny women. That's false. You know, our men, they like thick women. But that doesn't mean she can't exercise. You know he's like that. Huh. He knows that. And the way it was kind of interpreted to me is that when some of these women who were probably fairly large, their thing is that they wanted to be with their children. They wanted to see their children grow up. Well, that stuff is true, right? That means that here it is, whatever that was in their well-being, they wanted to do whatever it was to enhance their lives. Wow, that's encouraging, isn't it? I say that to say that here it is, they wanted to be a reflection for their children to grow up, to be healthy. Hold on really quick, okay? One moment, please. I'm placing the call on hold. Like for an example, ain't gonna fib to you, honey. I get a little, I was having my honey bun, and then I'll have some yeast, and it just kind of dawned on me, you know, over a period of time where you see the consumption, that's a lot of calories. And so one of the doctors that the doctors are in, what he was explaining is how he ate junk food. Okay, what he did is he did a fast, and he drew his blood. Then he ate junk food. And I don't know if the study was starting from a 7-day period or a 1-day period. I'm not really sure, so I'll just assume a 7-day period. Because in actuality, when you're doing certain fasts like that, to tell you the truth, he should have done it studied it from 1 month period to the next. Okay, so that means that he should have drawn it from 1 month, from the beginning of the month, and then here it is at the end of the month, and see how that pattern would have been, because at that point, all the HCGs and the cholesterol and how they read all those different things, it would show some determining factors. So let's just say he had fasted for a month, and then but anyway, let me tell you what he did. Okay. But like I said, I don't know exactly what it was. So he did he did a fast, and like I said, I don't know if it was a blank fast where it was just fasting with water. And then he fasted with water. And then he did another fast where it was just with fruits and vegetables, and then he ate junk food, and then he was just showing how the thing looked different. Now, I ain't gonna fib to you. If he really had did it the other way, I think it would have looked different from him even eating the vegetables and the fruit, the veggies and the fruit on a given moment from him fasting just with water. Okay, but the way he tried to show was the same. But the thing is, it wouldn't be the same, because here it is, it would show what he was consuming prior to that. So anyway, I ain't going to argue with you, but we do need people who know how to do research, though. Right now, matter of fact, let me look, because they were sitting, I was like, well, goodness gracious, when you look at most of these universities, they should know they should already have a research, a R&D at their school. So I got to see if Tuskegee University or Howard do any of these corporate businesses go to them and ask them to do certain research, whether it's manufacturing or whether it has anything to do with the science. We got to upgrade. I think some of our universities need to upgrade. We have to invest in them. How is somebody going to say, and you haven't invested in your own university? Anyway. So then the woman has showed us some pictures of bland foods. So, you know, back in the day, they would tell us about rye bread and pumpernickel and all this other kind of stuff, and they would share with us that brown sugar was better than white sugar and bread and all that different kind of thing. And the woman said, huh? This is the doctor. Huh? Okay, let me go back to the picture. So then she showed us all this, you know, fast, you know, the things that we like to eat. And she was like, it doesn't have any color to it. So then she wanted to associate that with the landfill. Like, you know, once you go into the trash and all that stuff, because when you look at the landfill, it just looks a certain kind of way. It doesn't really have the grass and all that kind of stuff. So you understand the difference? Okay. So she put the junk food, or what we consume on a regular, with things that look like garbage. And so she said, that's junk. So the conversation as we know it is, you are what you eat. So we have to really redo the pyramid, because I was like, well, I ain't going to fail to you. So then at the end, even though she didn't provide the nutrient values of some of the vegetables, or the veggies or whatever, ultimately at the end of the thing, it was about fruits and veggies and how green it is, the orange, the red, the yellow. It just had a lot more color to it, you understand? So like as I said before, as it would say, eat a lot of green vegetables and fruits and all that kind of stuff. But hold on, let me see if Tuskegee University has research. University, Tuskegee Research and Development. Let me see what they got going on here. Okay, I'm at images. Let me see if they have this. Research and sponsors. They still talking about the syphilis. Okay, established research foundation. You know, I don't know. What about Howard? You know, hey, I know they don't have it at the at the AUC Center, but they need it. What do you think? All right. So anyway, let me just read this to you, and then of course, hopefully I'll see more people out there, especially doing yoga. And, you know, I was walking. It's like once we get a little crowd, maybe we can, you know, do some yoga right there at Cascade, maybe right here on Campbellton Blessing. We have, of course, we have Ben Hill before it gets too warm. I guess over a period of time we'll figure what that is, you know. Of course, we have to be in a grassy area. If we're walking around Greenbrier Mall, it may look a certain kind of way. But the thing is that over a period of time, there has been a concern about just that, us exercising. And exercising and eating good and getting active and staying within our BMI. I ain't gonna lie, honey, mine is fat. You know, I'm considered obese. Don't tell nobody. All right. Okay, so here it is, a fat gub. But again, going back to this, Center of Hope at Ben Hill Recreation Center, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Please be on time because they be closing that door, honey. And you okay, they do. So you want to make sure that you get in on time and so you can exercise with some of those people, and they actually have a really good affordability in terms of, you know, being able to use the weight room and all that kind of stuff. And some of the other things are free. And, of course, they have programs and stuff for the kids. You must go to the Ben Hill Recreation Department and find out. You know, we also have the summer camp that's going on. I also wanted to announce that District 11, Miss Keisha Bottoms, on Saturday, June 7th at 9 a.m., they're going to be at the Westgate Shopping Center, 3131 Campbellton Road. They're doing their Fight the Blight Day. And that's a day of cleaning up. Naguzo Saba. Those of you, Naguzo Saba. Okay? So they're doing Naguzo Saba on the 7th. Okay? Naguzo Saba on the 7th with Keisha Bottoms, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Get involved. There's also, you know, I was walking down the street and on Kimberly, because, you know, well, with the bike and everything, and I was riding. I said, I wonder what's going down here. So I'm driving down, I go down to Kimberly. I'm on Kimberly and Melvin, wherever Melvin Park is. And which I really didn't. I'm like, wow, really? So there's Melvin and there's Kimberly. And so anyway, I was riding up to Kimberly, and then you see some apartments. But as I was walking on the bike and inquiring and riding, this depends, you know, anyway. I saw that there was a large amount of trash over there, tires and things like that. I'm like, here it is. Don't you know that we could use those tires later on? Please pull those tires, put them to the side. The thing is that they over there, and in itself is an issue. You know, we have to understand that the tires that are over there are, here it is, the trash, the computers, and all that different kind of stuff. It's like, no. And I'm just now looking at this, talking about certain violations. Listen, they do pick up certain things. I'm like, here it is. This is an opportunity for us to try to show our good face. And we do need to have trucks to come pick up that waste and pull that stuff from out of there. You know? It just look like it look. We don't want that stuff looking, junking up our community. No. Why? Because the thing is that we want our community to look good. Now, as I was walking down the street, I was inquiring about this. I was like, wow, I'm over here where the little bus round goes. You know, over there, they have the apartments. They have the old school. I think the school is called Atlanta High School, Atlanta School or something. And then I just thought about in Cobra. Now, I know that the conversation, I know I was like, well, this gentleman was asking me if about reparations. I said no to reparations, but yes to housing. You know, that's what do you think we'll do with the money? If you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with the money, that's why y'all ain't working. That's why, because y'all working in this one area, and this is what they probably looking at. We got all these resources for you to utilize. We, okay? And yet here it is, you're asking, well, what can we do with it? The reason why it's going around and spinning the way it's looked is because if you look at each one of those individuals, what would they do with the money? Services, charity, things that we're doing now. Somebody said, oh, well, here it is, we have free school, and we're doing that now. But what I did think would be ideal would be for them to focus on the housing market. Now, I wanted to say something about some of these meetings I'm going to in the community and the association. These abandoned houses. You listen to some of these people who are over here. And hey, come on now, I'm putting that in your faces now. The reason why, because here it is, we live in our community. And yet here it is, we got these abandoned houses. We not being responsible for here it is the same. We talking about something way, what about right now? So when we look at these abandoned houses and we see these different investors come in our community and they're purchasing the property, we're not creating affordable housing in our own community. You go up there on Martin Luther King, some places are abandoned. Wow. Okay? So we got people who are homeless, and, most of these people who are homeless, when we think about it, they kind of been left over from, here it is, the thing of drugs, the influence of drugs. Okay? So what has happened? So when we look at, here it is, that influence of drugs and how that played a role inside of our community, and then here it is seeing people abandoning their properties because they had took on, here it is, the aspect of drugs, or here it is, some other influence. This made them not participate in what they're not even trying to sustain. We need NCOBRA to sustain, here it is, the vitality of what we got going on in our communities today. So while they're sitting there talking about we want land, what about all these abandoned houses that here it is, they themselves, they should have already attached themselves to HUD. Housing and urban development. Now here it is, I ain't going to flip to you, say here it is, there are certain things, I can't give you no more of an appropriate name to say NCOBRA. Okay? Say, and yet we have these people who's going to these associations and they're complaining to Mr. Cooper, or Collins, Mr. Collins, and talking about these abandoned properties. Now, my suggestion would have been already for NCOBRA to have attached their relationships with, here it is, the community affairs, all these people who's talking about housing, the HUD, and then establish a relationship. Oh, well, here it is. Well, these people, they're just, oh, okay. Well, the thing is that if they don't understand something, you mean to tell me they didn't associate real estate and real estate law as if it matters? Anyway, I was walking down the street, or riding the bike, and I ended up happened to find this old elementary, right? And I thought the elementary school, once they clean it up, they can have a place for meditation or whatever at the gymnasium. Some of the fascia area was torn down. I'm not really sure all what the school was looking like in the inside, but I thought it would have been an ideal area for NCOBRA to actually house, here it is, NCOBRA. Okay? So NCOBRA being near is not too far. It's off of Kimberly and Cascade. they should house it. There's an old school there. Do you think the school should be torn down? No, but I think that there is money that's there and available to make, because it's a landmark. Excuse me. Not money, but there's people who may invest in that and may want to keep that maintained there. There's parking and everything. I'm like, some of those little schoolyard things, they could probably go and be invested in some of these other parks, like Melvin Park. Pick those little things up and move it to Melvin Park and place those things there for kids, because there ain't nothing over there at Melvin Park for the kids, little itty bitty kids to, I guess, play with. Thank you. Not only should but the whole aspect of the homeless people. We should already be with the homeless people, communicating with them about Naguzo Saga. Now, I'm trying to see if I can get a volunteer, if I can go and maybe do the feast table with them. Okay, at some of these places, but that in itself is just don't work. First of all, it has to be explained and taught to them, and so, which I don't have a problem with that. Blessings. We can do that. So that here it is, we can motivate and kind of reinforce hope in some of the homeless people who feel like it's hopeless. Huh? And it ain't. No. Just know that. So you see where all this energy, young men, what y'all doing? It's not that here it is, they don't need HEALING within their own clique. Because guess what? We do. I'm like, honey, and they out there talking about reparations, and yet here it is. We what? And all these houses in our community, and they look. They all abandoned, and here it is. Some of them apartments looking like they look, and those men out there. What? You understand what I mean? What I mean? Anyway, those people who seem to have an interest, again, them looking at things from yesteryears. What about the issues and concerns of the homeless and also of that? Right now. How you gonna argue in Cobra, and yet here it is, them laws look like that, and them people are homeless, and yet our property and our land look like this, and you arguing about a tract of land. You better ask somebody. I'm going to move on from there, okay? All right. Okay, so here it is. What we're going to do is that. And they over there arguing about some money and haven't established a relationship with them people. What's wrong with y'all? The good stuff, I don't know if I'm saying that word right. Is it Kumba? I don't know. But we're going to say creativity. Seeking the Naguzo Saba art. Those little charms and stuff. I like to see some of that art coming up here and there. And of course, wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Kumba creativity. Seeking pistachio shells. The pistachios? I have not ever seen pistachios actually groomed and made. We got the Cairo shells. But if people are artists, you can really put them things and glue them, put them little shells in there, put a little heart on it. We're pistachios. When the Guzos, hey, you see anybody with pistachio shells, then you better believe it. Street Meat Company, Naguzo Saba. That's how I want to, hey, pistachio shells will be associated with Street Meat Company and its art to define the Naguzo Saba. And then the jury, of course, the way that we would like to see the jury will be in bronze, iron, what is it, bronze, you know, we got some little shells on here, I ain't gonna argue with you, brass, copper, and iron. Brass, and then of course we want some little delicate stuff. I mean, some of this stuff is a bit of quality. But of course, quality comes to the eyes of the beholder. So we don't want this stuff to be running like here it is, like we're just, commercializing it. Because we have women that need to sell it. We have women who need to sell these products. Okay? So going from there, pistachio, we're seeking pistachio shells. Please hold on to those shells. I was trying to figure out where can we actually send those shells. I mean, not send them, but pick them up. Don't be sending no bad shells and nothing. But you can send them to P.O. Box 10746, Atlanta, Georgia 30310. You can put them in a box, so make sure it looks all tidy and everything, so they hear this, they can use it. Don't look all crushed there. Well, I mean, for some people they can use some crushed shells. I don't know. But pistachio shells, yes, once we do that, the artist should have some taste to it. Man, that bag of pistachios cost about $5-10. Now here it is. Let's study with the pistachio. Pistachio. Okay. Pistachios. That is related to the Gugo Saba. We are interested in the shells. It is in the family of the cashew family. And it says it is a small tree originally from Central Asia and the Middle East. Them things are good. They're delicious. Ooh, I sure wish I can get some of those little pistachio trees right now. Matter of fact, we could plant that. You know that, right? Okay, let me also communicate that. Planting fruit trees in our community. Fruit trees. I'm trying to figure out why we don't have enough fruit trees in our community. Okay? So right now it says where it grows and all that kind of stuff. And this is associated with walnuts, almonds, and cashews. It says pistachios is an excellent source of vitamin E, especially rich in gamma, tocopherol. And then what else they were saying? That we need to take vitamin B complex. They were really talking about B12. But yet here it is, pistachios have a substance that the nuts are packed with many important B complex groups of vitamins. And that was something that was being expressed. But another thing, for people who are onyx people, we need vitamin D. And a lot of people associate their vitamin D with milk. But to tell you the truth, that means even though we are onyx people, don't get it twisted, we need the sun. The sun actually produces vitamin D. All right. So anyway, we are seeking shut up. Pistachio shells. There's a lot of things we can do with the pistachio shells in terms of art. So that's the aspect of creativity. Seeing some of the Gugo Saba art. We have Umoja, Kujakujalia, Yajima, Uyama, Nia, Kumba, and Imani. Okay? Unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, blessings, purpose, creativity, and faith. All right. So I did make a comment on the trash and the tires and stuff over there. That's Ujima. And then when we look at exercising under Nguzo Saba, we should find that in purpose, Nia. Okay? And the thing is that us working together, exercising together, that right there is a reflection of Umoja and Ujima. Okay, and Kuji Kuji Leah. But the thing is that purpose will agree with those other things, blessings. Okay, so when we look at that, like I said, I'm kind of round in the middle. I'm going to be working it out. Consider the routes, Greenbrier Mall, Kalamazoo, Cascade, blessings. Anyway, I wanted to say I did do a little yoga today. All right. I wanted to say, yes, we are for planting fruit trees. If we can get some of the pistachio trees, that's a good thing. So some of these areas that look like they're not parks, we could put some couple of trees over there at Ben Hill Park. I need to go and see some of these other parks in the neighborhood. Maybe I'll go on the other side of Campbellton and see what their park looks like. So right there, that's what's up. We need to plant fruit trees. Not just peaches. But here it is. Maybe we could find what plums. Is it a plum tree? I don't know. Plum tree, apple tree, orange tree. They would try to tell us, oh, you can't plant that tree. Let's try it, honey. Put the tree on there. I also wanted to say that I got a message to participate with Us Lift Us. And then, actually, I was speaking with a gentleman, and I was like, I was saying, hey, what we can do, we have a lot of people who do certain products and projects, like I'm talking about the pistachios, and I'm talking about the Nguzo Saba art. And so anyway, he had mentioned to me that they have the tag team marketing. Tag team marketing. And then he was like, well, we also have Us Lift Us as an alternative, in terms of economic development. Well, the reason why I'm mentioning them is some time ago, we have a lot of small products. I went on Tag Team Marketing, and I looked at their products. They have books, and they have just some of the regular things you see people outside trying to do certain things. Of course, there are motivational kind of concepts and how to actually market business. I have not attended any of these classes, so don't get me to fibbing. But I did look at a couple of their videos. And I wanted to say this. I was talking to the Incobra guy. And I was like, wow, would you be interested in, I'm just talking to him, just keeping it real. And that's like, wow, we could use that Incobra for one of those books. And the books that I was communicating, Avon, right? You have Avon. Well, when I was traveling, I had realized the Avon books, where they sell products and stuff with Avon. Okay. Beauty products, they have this kind of products, they have different products inside the book. Now, this is something that I'm going to explain to them when I'm actually on the membership meeting teleconference tomorrow. Because the thing is that how do we upgrade certain areas of how we do business, okay? Business should not have a color when you're looking for other people to invest in your product. And I'm going to go into that in a couple of minutes, or hold on. So anyway, we have people out there selling oils, people who's out there selling a lot of maybe, different things. It may be, distribution stuff like, what is this? Cell phone paraphernalia, or they may have cases and all that kind of stuff. Well, those things are distribution, but they're not real. They're products, but they're not products that was actually made from the community where, like I said, some pride. So when we look at how the Africans may have used Cairo shells, now here it is in terms of how we would use pistachios should come in a form of art. So now if we want to sell some art and we want to identify the art pieces that is affiliated with the Guzo Saba, it will be pistachio. Okay? They do not have pistachio art. I saw a little bit, I was looking, okay? Now, don't get me misunderstood. I have looked here and there, so don't get it twisted. So the thing is that if we were able to get some quality products, so I was thinking about in terms of makeup, we have Black Opal, there's Black Opal, Black Radiance, there's maybe Carol's Daughter. In terms of spas and this, that, and the other, there's also another magazine that have a array of beautiful clothing. I don't know. I think this business is called Midnight. It's a Midnight Velvet. Ooh, goodness gracious. They really got some good-looking clothes. I don't know who do Midnight Velvet, but they do. And I think it come out of whatchamajigget. But they really have some nice-looking garments. If you actually go on to Midnight Velvet, they have dresses and stuff that are, kind of centric. And they're sexy looking. Like I was over there, I ain't gonna figure out, I'm like, oh, wait, this dress is, oh, there's a sleeves in that. Is that all that belly? Oh, I look good in that. I just saw myself holding a little meeting conversation. I just thought I was looking like that. I don't want to call her name because she was associated with that movie, but, Anyway, and they actually have some African garments. But if we was able to work with people who actually fix clothing, we have some traditional clothing. So let's just say, for an example, in terms of traditional clothing, we can have clothing from all over the world, whether we're using saris or whether we are using head wraps or whatever it is. If we're having certain jewelry that's coming through Europe or anyway, we can decide on what those products are and actually put it inside a book. And we have a team of people already called Tag Team Marketing. Now, we can also, with using this book, try to inspire other people to actually get employment, to sell the products here and there. We don't have that in Latin America. And I'm not sure if it's done in Africa. I'm not sure it's done in terms of makeup. I haven't seen Imani stuff a certain kind of way. But if we can get this into a book and people can buy it and they can, do orders over the phone or they can place orders over the internet, that would be something that would be ideal. But to tell you the truth, there's a lot of people a lot of our elders, they may want certain products. Okay? So a lot of the small products that we have here and there, all this vitamins and stuff like that, don't get me misunderstood. Once you have one vitamin, all them vitamins become the same. I just don't see why they think that it's different. But of course, labeling does matter, of course, the name of it too. So I'm like, well, we got Beyonce stuff, we got, where's Puff Daddy and them stuff? There's these, if we could even, listen, the question is that if we are able to try to establish Greenbrier Mall with some of the quality stuff that even these people who consider themselves to have made it, that's in the textile industry, that's making jewelry, I'm like, Russell Simmons and them, they should have already had their own store. And they should have been supplying that. Don't you know that we have people who's coming from these different design schools, who coming from some of these areas where they make jewelry? Yes, we have them. They here. They want to make jewelry and work with different people. Russell Simmons, he should have already had his own, whatever you want to call it, and put Hello Kitty in there. And FYI, call out tulips. Yeah, it would be good if we could get, Russell Simmons to create the design for tulips. Tulips. All right, the flower. But of course, I would want to see what it looks like. I do have some idea of what that may look like. Oh man, I mean, here it is when we look at Greenbrier Mall. That's why I had to give big ups to Macy's. Thank you, Macy's. Huh? Macy's have what? Thank you, Macy's. Thank you, Walmart. We appreciate you for being inside our community and giving us a opportunity to house some of our products inside the stores like that. Because here it is, people want to see that their stuff have quality and that it's upgraded material. Okay, so anyway, for us lifting us in the tag team marketing, what can take place is that we literally can pick up some of these products that are out there on the street, try to put it in a book so that we can create jobs for men and women. So that here it is, the whole morale, and then even try to solicit some of these products outside of the country. I saw one near tag team marketing said it was international. I said, that's what's up. Yay! All right. Going back to this grassroots in churches. You know, I've heard some of these young men, and their conversation has been, if we were able to get some of these people to actually be able to donate the money to some of these grassroots efforts, then here it is, things will probably look a little different, right? Well, I want to know what the churches are doing with that money, or with their donations, or with their tithes, or their offerings. Now, I had a conversation about what is the difference between tithes and offerings. But you know, I'm community. What is the difference between tithes and offerings? But anyway, it made me ask a question. Do any of these grassroots attend any of the churches? Hello? While they were making the conversation of, man, if the people was to give, well, why don't they associate themselves with the church if they have an interest in providing certain programs or certain information, or, you know, providing information that would be useful for the community. They should be able to go to the community church and say, hey, we're a grassroots entity and we're looking to do this, that, and the other. And that goes for the same for a street meat company. We shouldn't have to feel like this, like that, to go to our neighborhood church and to sit in on some of their meetings or participate with, here it is, their sermon. Now, I have, you know, a couple over here, but the thing is, it is true. When we look at the church is in-house. But what is their work outside of there? Now, them sitting inside these buildings, we literally, as a community, can ask, what are they doing for the community? The church is sitting there, and yes, they house people, and they teach them the word, and yet here it is, we can ask them, what is their work? Are you listening? Do you hear what I mean when I say what I mean? Because if you have people who are doing grassroots work, and yet here it is, they are looking at why the church and their influence look like it look, then the question would be, those grassroots can, however you want to get it, yes, can ask the church, what are they doing for the community? Now, is it a preference for this, that, and the other? Now, here it is, the word of the church is that they're supposed to accept people for who they are. Listen. And if it's for the betterment of the community, they're 501(c)(3). Okay? So whatever it is that you feel like you want to talk about in the community that will be an asset, you should not feel like you couldn't go to church and ask them. Why? Okay. Just want to let those people who are asking know that, in case they didn't know. I have a good looking, we went to the NPU meeting, and they have provided a list of little things here, and I tell you the goodness truth, I'm like, wow, it was so informative that I actually have to get my little tape, and I'll tape this information there. I do encourage people to please go on streetmeet.biz, meetup.com. On streetmeet.biz, on Blog Talk, there's actually a calendar, the calendar for Street Meet Company, meetup.com. When you go to meetup.com, we do have a large video, excuse me, not video, we have our calendar. So I encourage you guys to please go to our calendar and look at some of the various things that we are doing. I also, this is interesting, I just ran into this piece of right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just read this out loud, okay? Project Giving Acts, ACTS, about choices in transportation and sharing. Now, I'm just not getting this information, okay? And it says we are looking for African American adults, 18 years, who live in zip codes 388, 30238, 30294, 30310, 30316, 30317, 30318, 30331. And it says, by the National Institute of Health to educate about the topics of organ and tissue donating. That's interesting. Organ and tissue donating. Now, it just made me wonder, well, why did they feel like they had to put a color to it? Why did they feel like they had to announce that it would have to be a particular color? Now, don't get it twisted. Sometimes they do certain research. Now, this information, research, or they want, maybe they want to do a match or something. But this is just training. I'm going to go into racism talk in a few minutes, because we need to ratify how we conduct business today. Because it's just like that. Blessing. Now, I could see if they were suggesting that they wanted to do organ, tissue, and, but it says to educate about the topic of organ and tissue donation. African American adults, 18 years and up. What do I have to do? Well, you can watch a video. No, you're going to watch a video. You're going to talk about it in a small group. You're going to enjoy snacks and refreshments. And each participant receives $10. What is this? Movie, what is this? They don't even give us a date. There ain't no day on this. I'm going to have to call them myself, so I have to get back with you on the FYI. But this is being sponsored by Emory. So Roland School of Public Health, Project Giving Acts. And I think you see the sign if you live over here in this area. And it says Giving Acts. If you want further information, please email lculler@emory.edu, and the telephone number is 404-727-4640. Okay? Now, the issue is now going from there to racism. Now, the reason why they just kind of jogged the thought is, why did they have to say African American? Well, sometimes what it is that, do you think that's a cat call or something? You don't think they would have went on their own looking for adults 18 years and older? Well, the area that they're calling is predominantly Morenos and Onyx people. And Occidentals. So the question would be, why would, matter of fact, you know, right here on Cascade, I found it interesting. They have an international school where they teach us Japanese, Chinese, and Spanish. Right there up on Cascade. Don't get it twisted. We live together. So why do you suppose they wanted to call it the African American adults? Why couldn't they just say, we are looking for adults 18 years and older who live in these zip codes? That's a question. Because we got to understand something. You know, I know that I said something about these particular business people, but when we're doing business in society today or in society yesterday, do you think it dealt with racism? Maybe. I ain't going to answer that. I don't know. What you think? The question is that when we look at some of these people, do you think that they're looking at racism a certain kind of way? The thought has come to me this way. Now listen now. Now we have come up with different names. I think there was another sheet of paper that I had where we broke down all the different names that we've been called over the period of years. And we keep going here and going there, trying to switch it up. Black should not be used. I ain't gonna say it to you. African American, we have adopted that name over a period of time because we've had people who are on a particular tier that felt like they wanted to be called something greater than black. So the thing is that they began to associate their lingo with those who saying they okay, well, we're African descendants. But then here it is, Africa is a continent, and yet here it is, if we are global, then we are more than just Africans. Now, I was thinking to somebody in regards to, I said, well, listen, you can be with a man from Asia. She was like, well, I want my black man. I ain't gonna fib to you. I just looked at her. I mean, I didn't look at her. I just listened to her. We love our black man. He's this, he's that. I said, well, what about an Asian man? I said, okay, well, what about an Indian man? Oh, no, he got to be a black man. What about African? Well, I had an African. I want to let you know something right now, on pronto, another amigo. Now, you go and you want to tell me that here it is, you want me to overlook my people who live over there in Asia? I said, you gonna ask me to ignore, say, people who live over there in Fiji? They're Asian people. Huh? What about the people over there in Sri Lanka? You want me to ignore, here it is, the Sri Lanka people, and yet here it is, I'm a reflection of them, they're a reflection of me? Have you looked over there to Sri Lanka before you go over there and tell me how you don't want to be associated with my people? Now, we try to figure out, this story ain't just black and white. I said, this story ain't just like it's black and white. Now, if I say that here it is, why don't you have an Asian man? Or why you don't have an Indian man? Then what is it that you're associating with? Now, culturally, it just look like it look. Now, the reason why the upper tier decided they didn't want to be called black, we had all these different names to come around a certain kind of way. But we are onyx people. We're swarthy people on this earth. Okay? Do you understand what I mean? When I say what I mean? We're onyx people. Now, here it is. Some people see the stone. I understand. And it looks like it's a color. I got you. But then when we go and we look at certain things, onyx come in an array of colors. Okay? But yet here it is letting you know, etc. You understand? Or as they say, the itala. Okay? Now, we're onyx people. Now, if you go over here and you look at, here it is, these people over here, so the address was, look at them folks over there in Sri Lanka. And you mean to tell me them folks not me? You go pull up India. You mean to tell you and me that them people are not my people? You want me? I said go over there and pull up Fiji. Them people over there in Fiji ain't not my people. What about over there in not only Fiji, but let's go ahead. Let's go over here and look at I'm not sure if you hear this stuff on Blog Talk or anything like that, but excuse me. Let me make sure that, or excuse me, material. No, the material's good, but the noise in the background, let me make sure here. Oh, okay. Wow, you know, time flies when you're having fun. Go over there and look at Cambodia. Them folks not me. You see how here it is, we done put ourselves somewhere, and yet we're not acknowledging our own people. Did you know that here it is, we are affiliated with them, all them folks calling out Africa? Did you know they mixed up with them? Have you taken the time to see what them folks over there in Madagascar look like? Now you want to see, oh, excuse me, am I going somewhere here? Okay, one moment. You mean to tell me that here it is, you don't know what Madagascar look like, them people? Oh, boy. And so when we realize something, when we look at racism, we must ask ourselves this question. The question is, when we look at Madagascar, we look at the people who live in Reunion, when we look at the people who are in the Middle East, when we look at, here it is, the people who may be here and there, I want us to acknowledge something about racism. Now, the encouragement have been for those who do film and art is that over a period of time what has happened is that here it is, there have been some favor over under or however you want to put it, on the side or whatever you got going on, where here it is, there's been some kind of conditioning with the understanding of what that is in terms of our relationships and our existence on this earth collectively, meaning that we should be able to coexist. We know there's red and yellow people and brown people and white people and black people. We know this. But you don't have to identify me a certain kind of way to sit here to do business with me. So the question of being, have we, have those who have used black or African American, or here it is as accentuated, here it is the tone of Negro, have actually gained more business, or have they restricted the aspect of business because of the terminology that they've used? Now, when we look at our ecosystems, it's not saying that here it is, we here in the United States have not filtered what that money is, but how is that currency flowing in other places in the world? Now, people who know business, they don't give a flying flip about that because they know how the currency changes from here and there. They just want to move their products because they want other people to understand their culture. Now, let me go over here to my notes. Racism. I think we should work on our relationships in the global continent, okay? I'm concerned that people who may not have the global aptitude of trade and business, global logistics, may not understand that the knowledge can surpass color. Now, the thing is people who are actually doing business. Now, if you want to sit here and tell me that here it is, we were doing this and we were doing that, and yet we still on the same corner or on the same block, then here it is, that whole aspect of saying those things of us being innovators and creators. If you're an innovator, you're a creator, you wouldn't be able to share that product. So now you understand the products that you may have may not be, I don't know how you, big, Because the thing is that if it was something that dealt with science or it was a new innovation, you want other people to have that and share it. So let me go into this. So for an example, shea butter. Shea butter was unanimous used in Africa. You know, people be like, oh, I got this big old cake of shea butter. The Africans would come over here with the shea butter. Shea butter went global. Okay? So the product didn't, you know, you could get some authentic shea butter and use it. I ain't gonna feel to you, that stuff made me itch. So here it is, over a period of time, maybe through some research or some development, we start to see the shea butter here and there. And for some textures, or it was better for some products than the others. But anyway, the product did not remain just an African product. It became a global product because of its properties. Now let's look at caviar. Caviar, when we think about that, was associated with the rich and famous. But it is a common delicacy in Asia. If you see me, I do not have to address my swarthiness, for I am onyx. Do you understand what I mean? When I say what I mean? So I wanted to say this, and I know I communicated this before. And the reason why I want to communicate this, because we're dealing with ones and twos. Now, when we look at ones and twos in Asia, it means one. Well, when we look at Swarthy people, we're two tones. White people, they're just one tone. Meaning that inside of their hand, on the outside of their hand, they're white. When you look at a Swarthy person, they're one color on the inside and another color on the outside. That makes two. But we one, right? Okay. The reason why I'm mentioning this, blessings, is that when we look at those things prior to Martin Luther King and that addressing black or this or that, Negro or African American, well, we got African American after Martin Luther King, okay? So the thing is those people who worked on African American, they did that so they can accentuate, here it is, our origin based on the information that was provided to them, or here it is on their studies about Africa. Okay? Now, my explanation is this. Martin Luther King's purpose, well, we can go into all that, but that's another study, but I'm just going to just like this, was about segregation, right? So that here it is that we can actually live together and work together. Now, hey, you want on that corner, on that end, and that's your business. But when it comes down to business and meeting of certain relationships, here it is, this has something to do with trade. At that point, it don't have anything to do with color. Because whatever that product is, it may be some of those small products that you can find out somewhere else in the international community. Okay? They got a whole bunch of gurus out there. Okay. So when we look at why do we use black, do more black people invest in that particular thing? Here it is, do they get more of this? I mean, for some reason, should we or do we need to associate that thing? Now, you know, back in the day, we did have certain leaders like Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey that wanted to say something about who we were as the people or as individuals in terms of our beauty. Now, I ain't going to fib to you, honey. That's been for somewhere near. I went into a little glitch where my beauty, my B-E-A-U-T-Y, meant something to hear it in some of these characters because you want me, blessings, to disown me in the international community. And I do not want to do that. I am a swarthy woman. That means that my representation just doesn't come from one place. On this, hey, they say that it's 7 continents. I say that it's 6. But I ain't going to argue with you. Okay? Now, when I look at, hey, oh, you just, no. Say, here it is, my swarthiness, and them honest people over there in Asia, up there in Europe, up there over in India, over there in the United States, over here in the Americas. Here it is, I'm a global representation. Okay? So, okay, here it is, this right here. But this is what this means. Oh, here it is to you. So you don't want me to have No, I want to have relationships. That's to you. That's somebody else. Somebody else, because here it is, they're unaware of, here it is, there's people over here and over there that also need the sustenance of, here it is, this and this and goodness. Hallelujah, like that. Now, going back to this. When we look at what Martin Luther King did, the goal was segregation. And whatever that separatist ideology was, here it is, the way that the Occidentals are looking at it, okay, as if we're the ones who's holding that. As if we're the ones who's holding that. Why are we holding that? Well, here it is. Well, I don't have to address that. You think they run around there talking like that, and most of they people look like they look. Now, when we look at, here it is, that thing where we talk about equilibrium and that balance in terms of our wealth in the world, does it look like it's equal? But yet you want to sit here. Now, don't get me wrong, flags up. We got to be vigilant now. Our eyes must be wide open, and we must be vigilant, because there's things going on. We're not quite sure what it is. But when we look at the equilibrium of people who need to be fed, and you want me to sit here and argue with you about a color? Or do you want me to dance around with these other people who have the focus on my money? Now, hold up. It depends on the fight. I'm not willing to fight just about anything, because the thing is, I'm an inclusive person, and this is why street meat is. You understand what I mean? When I say what I mean? Oh, here it is. I want to know. Listen, if we're doing business, we have to be. Don't you want people to love me? Care for me? Do you want people to like me? Like I said, here it is. I don't know how to address some of the rhetoric that I hear. I tell you, the gun honest truth. Now, looking at that, so therefore, what is being expressed, the negative terminology may not fit for everyone. But if we can union on what is appropriate name of how we should address us, we are beyond one continent, but we are the world. We are in the global community. Okay? Now, again, let's go over here and look at some of these places, because for some reason, people are not acknowledging that we exist on this planet beyond the continent of Africa. I said there's 7 continents. What about the Aborigines over there in Australia? You don't want me to know them? So when we look at our relationships among our peers and among our neighbors and among our brothers and sisters, among, here it is, our forefathers, our foremothers, and all this different kind of things, you better believe it, sweetie. I think that here it is, some things matter. I don't know why they're going back and forth like here it is, we don't know this, that, and the other, but let's tell it like a T.I. is. What? Okay. Well, as usual, right here in Australia, we have, you have the Aborigines, we have various people here and there. We are a part of the world. If we have products, and this is why the conversation about true amelioration is just that. There is room for innovation because it's there. Okay? Now, when I look at, here it is, the tag team marketing and the relationship when I want to work with Us Lift Us, here it is, I just want to make sure that they understand my position on a lot of that stuff, especially when we're working in our community. The man said, well, here it is. Well, I mean, tell me where here it is, our community, this, that, and the other. I said, dude, are you looking around? This is our community. We do live here. Well, I want to go on. What's the issue? Because I told you. It's just the truth. Here it is. We must address why do you think what we have to announce ourselves a certain kind of way. So anyway, this being said, is that to tell you the truth, a lot of this stuff they're talking about black owned or this, that, and the other, it's really not necessary. Because if you're out involved in the community and they're selling their products, I guess they will know where it come from. We don't necessarily, because let me tell you something, the majority of the people, they're going to go to Walmart and go shop. And the reason why they're going to go there, because here it is, apparently we do not have the products to I guess, hold that up, I guess. I don't know. Don't give me the fizzy. But yeah, here it is, we got products here, 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 here. And does that really matter in such a way? It depends. You know, I just want to share this little experience really quick. You know, this is put like this. We have to be cautious about a few things because we cautious about the way we handle certain things. No, cautious and be vigilant on how bankers may view certain things. Because the thing is, and the reason why I'm having this conversation, is that when you're actually dealing with, I got a letter. And the letter said, oh, want me to apply. It was a pre-approval letter. The pre-approval letter, that means that they've already have some kind of cinch about what your credit looks like. But as I applied, it was denied. And I'm like, well, why was it denied? Well, listen, it was a pre-approved letter. Why would they send me a pre-approved letter to tell me it's been denied? So whatever time frame that is, from 1 month to the next, it doesn't matter. It was already pre-approved. So there was no reason for me to sign up with them, and they sent me a pre-approval letter, okay? Now, when we look at these different factors, we have to acknowledge that when this is where it was in Cobra at, when they hear this, when we had to fight for our rights to maintain our property. Right now, you got the ghouls over there in South Carolina. In Cobra, no, they should have been on that, like, what? On our land and our property. But it became an issue. Well, not to be a certain kind of way, but it's just, here it is, accentuating what your purpose is. Some people, they just don't acknowledge what that is. I'm not trying to fight with you now. Oh, stuffing. Okay? But when we look at some of the laws and things of yesteryears, and now who's working with us and who's working against you? That would be the question. Okay? The reason why I'm addressing this is because this little thing with me getting this letter, then it's going, now if it's a pre-approval letter, then why would I apply for it and then deny it? It wouldn't matter if it was only $500 or $1,000. It would have been approved whether I closed it down. I mean, you understand where I'm coming from? It was sent to me as a pre-approval letter. That means that it should have been approved, period. Okay? Now, and the reason I'm mentioning this, do our banks, like banks that is actually in our community, now I can't call out this bank's name, do they have their own operating function, or is that wall lined up with the FDIC? So I just want you to understand how it functions. So someone said, well, what about Seaway? Well, even Seaway, they're on 501c4. They have to abide by certain things. Do they have their own lending practices, though? Or do they have that format that is the same way? So when we get these people who want to sit here and be like, oh, and yet here it is, you really don't see that there's an understanding of what we need to protect in terms of our rights in this country when it comes down to going to the bank and getting loans and having certain resources. And we see certain things happen in a certain kind of way, and yet here it is, we can't step out a certain kind of way. And this is why cut society is important. Because when you see like something seems a little fishy, you do need to know that there's somebody who's out there backing that thing up. Like, what do you mean? Now, here it is. If you got a system that sends, and they want to sit here talking about, well, we are them, we them, and them people look like that, or here it is, this. I tell you, the gun is just, it's like we must question, why do you think you are identifying yourself that way? That means that we have not created the equilibrium that we need to create to say that here it is, our equality matters. Now, to address the concerns about our land, about our property, that goes into personal property and real estate law. Now, when it comes down to lending practices, now we've had an issue when it came down to some of these loans, when it came down to the housing market. It was talking about predatory lending and all that kind of stuff. Now, when we look at, here it is, that relationship that can be established through NCOBRA's effort. Do y'all have the lawyers, and they sitting there talking about land, and yet we got these folks talking and singing and looking like they daggone looking. You better ask Irene Ratliff. I know I'm calling them out there like that because I just can't understand why they sitting there calling out reparations when here it is, these people losing their homes and things like that, and they want to talk about here it is, something from yesteryears, and here it is, what about this modern day off-looking stuff? What does those things look like? Huh? Now, I was just looking at these things a certain kind of way, and I said, lo and behold, now I know them folks. Look at you, and said, wait a minute. Now, if I am try to maintain certain, that shouldn't have went down that way. I'm going to let y'all know right now. And there ain't no reason why I would feel like I would need to lean on anything. And I think that's kind of, like we have to be desperate. Baby, honey bun, what? That's why you pay for insurance. Shit. Okay? Don't get it twisted. Home insurance, life insurance. We do need to have a group of people out there understanding what that thing is in terms of the importance of health and wealth. And understanding where we can actually do certain banking. Well, here it is, we will feel that our money is secured, and there ain't nobody humping and going up and down on our in our banking system. And that right there becomes flags. Why? Because this bank just wrote me and told me I was pre-approved, but then I applied, and then here it is, they want to tell me I was denied. Well, why the hell you pre-approved the application to say it was denied? No, 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 and no. The money and the stuff didn't go up from that much. Now that means you have a system that is affecting how we want to get loans. And you go and you look at Good Times, say, here it is, James just only wanted $100, $200. And they wouldn't get that man that $100 or $200. Now what we gonna do? Now here it is, you can make some reference and you can look at Good Times if you want to, but that's just true. Now, if people want to know why certain things are addressed a certain way and why people are out there trying to bring forth certain attention, is because things like these things are taking place. But we don't have to put a color in front of it. Because we are. You understand what I mean? What I mean? Okay. Because we are. Now you can look at that how you want to look at that. That's your business. I'm trying to figure out, well, so for people who are like, oh, well, why they have to put this? There's a reason why they had associated. Because I had asked this man, I went to this real estate company, and I said, well, why Is there an issue for you to put color there like that? Because I know in real estate law, it's clear, and especially when it comes down to the EEOC, especially when it comes down to certain advertisement, you can't announce a color or this, that, and the other when you're advertising property. Are y'all listening? This is why it's important to understand what the real estate law is. Understand it. Understand it. Know it. Now, here it is. If I'm applying for something, I shouldn't have. So anyway, he said, well, no. What was happening is that these lenders who were running the bank wouldn't give X amount of dollars. Now, when we look at one of the biggest things that was in question was we have to really collectively look at getting out of debt. And so when we look at some of these countries, they're in debt. Now the question has been from World War II and then the onset of what that was in terms of lending. So at the World Bank and the IMF, right, what was happening was that they were providing certain grants and loans to some of these countries to build. So you hear this thing, well, here it is, you build it up, we tear it down, we build it up, they tear it down. Well, so what was happening was that these people were building certain things, and then, yes, they were going through war and they were tearing it down. That's why some of the areas in these places, they look desolate around the world. Now, if they was received, then some of those people were pocketing the money and this, that, and the other. So what happened is it created a debt. And so the debt, when you look at, here it is, the people and the resources, don't tell me about your resources and you're not involved in the resources. Okay? So what was happening is that the GDP was not matching up to the loans. So now you have to understand what was coming out of the country, what was being extracted as an export, and then here it is what was being imported, and then here it is when you look at those monies and everything like that, how was that being added up here and there? Okay? Now I said that because when we look at it, we are entities and units that create community. Now, if one person is being affected a certain kind of way, and yet here it is, they want to look, then there's a strong concern about what that thing is. Especially when here it is, we see that there is a relationship certain place somewhere. Now, I don't have to associate that with color, like how they want to go on the human, because it's like for real. Out of World War II, why did they, now we got to put, because they had South Africa, but it was no black person, there was no honest or swarthy person sitting in them rooms when they were doing those things in Bretton Woods. Now, Bretton Woods was over there on the West Coast. There was not one, however, they do talk about South Africa. Now, our position, and now we have to understand, well, what is that? Now there's an understanding. Oh, am I saying something wrong? No. Oh, here, what? But do we have to put a color on that? Or do we think that our involvement or our participation actually accentuates our effort to participate our coexistence in this world, on this land, this planet called Earth? I will go and talk, I will communicate, about education, education, Mayana. Good. Since we're talking about coexistence, building bridges through language. It was a little thing that I was doing maybe 10 years ago, and I was really just teaching it to the youth. Building, thank you, building bridges through language. Now, I was supposed to speak Spanish. I ain't gonna feel me. I was supposed to be fluent in Espanol. But over a period of time, I have an excuse like many. Oh, I didn't practice it. I didn't do this. Oh, I didn't do that. So I have one little, thank you. I have one little word here and one little word there. Here it is. They want something. No. They haven't even do it. Matter of fact, they encourage people to actually learn another language. The reason why, okay, is because not only does it build bridges and relationships in the international community, but it allows for business. So that would be another question I would be asking these people. What other languages do you guys speak, so that here it is when it's time for us to do certain relationships and look here and look there, that we're able to establish it. Now, the main languages was English, Spanish, and French. All the other, and Arabic, depending on where you feel like you're doing investments. But when we're deciding to use the Arabic languages, you know that it's associated with religion. So the thing is you can speak Arabic, but you also know that there are certain laws when we start going into Islamic or Muslim countries that predominantly speak Arabic. So the thing is that you'll know that that language is associated with religious practice. Okay? All right. What I mean. Okay. So when we look at building language, building bridges through languages, French, Spanish, English, and Portuguese. Okay? So most of these languages are called Latin languages. Okay? And so you have some people say, hey, but listen, you know what? They have so many indigenous languages up in Europe. So you don't want me to sit here and talk about all the indigenous languages that they have right there in Africa or somewhere else? I mean, they have indigenous, even though they Mandarin and Cantonese, Japanese, and then you got the Koreans and all that different kind of stuff. It's just amazing when you see how some of these people, they write and how they converse and culture and all that kind of stuff. So in terms of being able to associate similarities, it would be ideal for us to know how to communicate. And so you find a lot of people, they lean on Spanish because it's easy. Okay? Spanish and French. Matter of fact, if you ask me, I think Spanish is more romantic. It's a romance language more so than French. But then when you look at it, French is not only spoken in Europe, but it's also spoken in Africa, and it's also spoken in the Caribbean and in Latin America. Same thing, the English is spoken here, it's spoken in Canada. French is also spoken in Canada. But let me see here languages. I think the widely spoken language in the world, actually they said that Mandarin is actually the second largest language spoken, but I ain't going to argue with you. You know that ain't for real, right? Okay. I'm going to let you know that no. But I ain't going to argue with you. Okay. I don't know. Oh, Italian. Italian is a kind of really close to that. Anyway, I'll go over languages again. But the thing is yes, we do need to learn how to speak another language. I do not mind communicating with a couple of people about just that thing. Go over the Spanish again. I know a couple of words. I did travel through Latin America. By the grace of goodness, I was able, I did okay. It's not all that great. It does need a lot of work. Anyway, thanks for joining Street Meet the Points listening audience, and hope to have your support. We accept donations, crowdfunding support, and your participation. Everyone is valuable in your participation to help yourself, family, community, local, state, region, federal, and global community relies on the many people that contribute to it being an effective structure. Thanks again so much for listening to Street Meet the Point. Please visit our website at www.streetmeet.biz, B-I-Z, and our Connect partner, which is www.meetup.com/street-meet, M-E-E-T, and know that we will be at the Southwest Library on July 6th at 2 p.m. Thank you. Have a good night.